Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Mauling League's Chaos Cup. We're in week number 6. We're at the top of the leaderboards for our double header tonight, and we're going to get this double header started with the NC Snakes versus Odin. It's Nuffle Move versus Clypheus, Dark Elves versus Norse. I have absolutely no idea how this match is going to go. I'm very excited to see how this plays out. But let's take a look at the standings before we take a look at these two teams. Clypheus, SB Beaver, Aritis, welcome to the stream. I'm very interested for this matchup. I have absolutely no idea how to play it, but we'll take a look at the rosters in just a second. In Division A, in first place is BB Nuts Believe Broncos. They're a Nurgle team. They are 4-1-0, undefeated at the top of the charts. In second place, Ajax is the Fishy Fiends, a Chaos Renegades team. They're 3-1-1, and JD Whitey's Blitzburg Steelers in third. They're a Skaven team. They are 2-2-0. Division B is where we'll be for the second gate. Aritis. You know what? I'll get this right at some point. In Division B is where we'll be for game number 2 this evening. In first place is Spire's Philosopher's Song. They're a Lizardman team. They are 3-2-1. Berserker, Tempest, Vesuvian Lavabacks are also a Lizard team. They're in second place with a record of 3-0-3. And S Beavers, Wooden Men, and Iron Trees in third. A Wood Elf team, 2-2-0 is their record. And Division B is where we're going to be for game number 1 this evening. In first place, Doug the Minotaur's Dinnerbell Darlings, a Dwarven team with a disgusting record of a wonderful record of 5-0-0. Clypheus is up tonight. They're in second place. Odin, it's Nuffle is the name of the team. They're a Norse team. They're 3-1-0. And Boobs NC Snakes are facing off against that Norse team this evening. They're in third place. They're a Dark Elf team. 2-2-0 is their record. Aritis. Boy, I don't know why does my brain not work? The home team for this evening is going to be the NC Snakes, coming in at 11 players on the roster and a TV of 1,130,000 gold. They have 2 Witch Elves, all 4 Blitzers, a bunch of linemen. They have 3 dedicated fans and 2 rerolls. They're going to be up against the Norse of Odin. It's Nuffle. That's right. Man, I am a fool. 14 players on the roster for the away team here this evening. One will not be starting. The number 8 lineman out with an injury this week. The TV comes out to 1,160,000 gold. That's 30K in petty cash going to the Dark Elf team. I imagine that's going to be an assistant coach, but we'll see in just a few moments here. 2 Wolf Winners on the roster, 2 Valkyries, a Berserker, 2 Beer Boys, and a bunch of linemen. 1 Oppo, 4 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. How are these two teams going to play tonight? Boy, I have no idea. So let's take a look at the Dark Elf team first. The Dark Elves, of course, they're elves. Their edge is very good. 2+ across the board. Very fast as well. 6 of the 11 players on this roster have an MA of 7. 2 players are Blodgers. That's Black Mamba, the number 1 Witch Elf, and Cottonmouth, the number 3 Blitzer. Blodgers. That's a fantastic combo, as anybody who's played this game for a modicum amount of time can tell you. Block and dodge means only the pal's going to knock you down, barring other skills, which we'll talk about in just a minute. A number of players with the block skill, right? The Blitzers all come with the block skill. One of the Witch Elves has the block skill as well. Sidewinder picked up Wrestle instead. I think that's a fine pickup. With 2 Blodgers, 5 players with the block skill, and this is the Elf team that is not terribly fragile, right? You have an AV of 9+ across the board, except for the Witch Elves. Do you go in on this fragile Norse team or not? I'm not so sure. I think the NC Snakes probably don't want to base the Norse team and give this Norse team a bunch of blocks, because the Norse team has block on so many players and frenzy, which means they're getting lots of block dice against the Snakes. Of course, the Snakes do have average armor, but it's still an armor break rule that you're giving up to the opposing team. I'm not so sure they want to give those blocks up unless it's a tactical mark, meaning they want to go in and take the marks to tie down some players so that they can skirt by the opposing formation and score, or maybe apply some pressure on the cage. I think it's the exact same situation for Odin and Snuffle. I don't think they want to take the marks because they have an AV of 8+. That's very brittle. Not very brittle, but it's fairly brittle. You don't want to be giving up those blocks to these Dark Elves. I don't know how this is going to be played. It's going to be a very, very tactical game. They do have a bunch of players with the block skill. They also have a number of players with Frenzy. Of course, the Ulfwereners with Strength 4, they both have Frenzy. The number 5 Norse Berserker, Frenzy. Constantinople, the number 9 lineman, picked up Frenzy. That's a number of players with the Frenzy skill. They all... Phage Forge with the raid. Thank you very, very much. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time for game 1 of our double header this evening. Thanks once again, Phage Forge. I very much appreciate it. Hello, hello. Welcome again to the stream, and thank you very much. But there are 2 players on this roster with the tackle skill. Francia, the number 4 Valkyrie. I'm trying to pronounce Valkyrie one way. I don't know why I pronounce it 2 ways. I'm going to say Valkyrie. The number 4 Valkyrie has tackle, but also the number 10 lineman has tackle. Those are 2 tackle pieces, and you can bet they are going to zero in. They are going to pinpoint these 2 blodgers right here, Black Mamba and Cottonmouth. That's tackle negates dodge. That will really put the hurt on those 2 pieces and try to negate that blodge advantage. But of course, Moob's going to be very well aware of this and try to not position these players where those tackle players will be able to take that mark. The Beer Boars, of course, are great cheat players to get your assist that you need. They are stunty, they are titchy. Every one of their dodges is a 2+. They're also great foulers. 20k, get a Beer Boar out there. Slam somebody in the head with a keg of beer. Very good for that use, of course, but also they do have the pick-me-up skill that you can get a free stand-up with that. Can't really rely on that in any sort of strategic way, I think, because it's a 5+ on everyone. It's a die roll. It's very unreliable, but it's also always nice when it happens. Norse teams, glass cannons. Lots and lots of block, lots and lots of frenzies we talked about. There are 2 Valkyries on this roster, and I think that's very important because the Valkyries have pass and catch. They combo very nicely to give the Norse team a little bit of a passing game. The quick pass, maybe even the short pass, if you've got a reroll, that is an option for this offense, and that means the offense can threaten both. Of course, they'll play the running game, but they can threaten the passing game as well. I imagine we're not going to see these 2 Valkyries near each other for the entire duration of the game. One will be near the ball or maybe even has the ball. The other one will be on the opposite end of the pitch or maybe halfway across the pitch, threatening that passing game at all times. That's going to force that defense to have to spread a little more thin and cover both options. Where these marks come in, I have absolutely no idea. Somebody's going to have to do something, and I don't know who wants to pull the trigger on that first. It's gonna have to tie into something more strategic. Taking those marks to lock down some players so you can skirt by them is an option. But both teams, or rather, neither team has a significant speed advantage over the other. They both have MA7 players. They both have a ton of MA6 players as well. What a tricky dance that's gonna have to be. I was thinking of the verb for dance. You know what it is? It's dance. What a tricky dance will have to be danced tonight with where these marks are taken and when they are taken. Clypheus, traditionally a control coach, can leverage Frenzy to his advantage, his playstyle in that way. Just has to watch out for those Frenzy traps. But these are 2 great coaches tonight. I can't imagine Clypheus is going to accidentally Frenzy into a disadvantageous position. Lots of money for both of these teams tonight. 6 fan factor for the NC Snakes, 7 for Odin Snuffle. Clear skies for game 1 this evening. Here's the coin toss. We'll see who wins the coin toss. It's going to be Odin. It's Nuffle. They're going to choose to be on defense. So the Dark Elves will be on offense. Often against Elves, you don't want them to be on defense. I don't think that's necessarily true with these Dark Elves, and that's just because they're so fragile. You don't want to give them their max defense, but I don't know. I think this Dark Elf team, especially in this matchup, this might not be so bad. If they can get a significant player advantage, again, they're up against a ton of players that are AV 8+. That is fairly brittle. If they can get a significant player advantage here, I don't know that against the right people, I should say, against the non-frenzy pieces, I don't know if they're going to be able to score on offense. If all they have left are a majority of frenzy pieces, it's going to be real difficult to keep the formation, the offensive cohesion together to keep the ball safe. So we'll see what happens here in the first half. It's going to be the Dark Elf ball to start with. 3 on the line for the defense. Ajax the Riot, welcome to the stream. Clypheus, good luck and welcome. SB Beaver, again, welcome to the stream. Odin Nuffle looks to be screening out the pitch here against these Dark Elves. They do have 2 in their reserve box, so they can lose 2 and still set up with 11 on a future drive. The Dark Elves, however, have nobody in reserve, just 11 on the roster. Dark Elves also only have 2 rerolls rather than 3. Did they pick up an assistant coach? Let's see. They did indeed pick up the assistant coach, so that'll try to help get that 3rd reroll. Moves Rudy for the offense. What? Really? JD Whitey, welcome to the stream. I'm very well, thank you. I hope you are as well. Five on the line for the offense. The offense always gets to go first at the beginning of the half. So they'll get the ball. They'll go first. They'll take those blocks first. So 3 blitzers on the line for the NC Snakes in the tackle positions. 2 linemen, 2 Witch Elves back to receive. They are the most fragile pieces on this Dark Elf team with that AV of 8. They do have Frenzy, one of which is a blodger as well. Here's the kick. Very deep. Did it work out? Oh, it did work out. Very deep kick here by the defense. The NC Snakes picked up the assistant coach and got the reroll thanks to the assistant coach. When you get the brilliant coaching kickoff event, you roll a d6, you add your assistant coaches to the roll. Neither team had one on the roster. 1 for the NC Snakes. That's 7-6. They will win the roll-off. They're up to 3 rerolls. Turn 1 underway. On the blitz, they get a push. Second block of the turn is a knockdown against the number 1 Ulfwerner. Ulfwerners have an AV of 9+, but now these linemen only have 8. Copperhead on the block. Breaks armor. Gets a stun. Two-die block. This will work out through the block skill. Rattler on the block. Now the 2+ pickup. Fails the 2+ pickup. Will have to re-roll this. Doesn't want that ball going somewhere very dangerous. Spends the re-roll. Recovers the ball. The Snakes now have the ball on the 22-yard line. Turn 1 now for the defense. That's very true. Easy come, easy go. Nuffle giveth, Nuffle taketh away. Odin Nuffle planning out their turn here at the beginning of the game. They're taking a mark behind the wideout over in the right wide zone. That's the number 11 lineman, Taipan. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz. Gets a knockdown here or a push. We'll take the knockdown. Breaks armor. It's a stun. Every one of these pieces with Frenzy will have to follow up on the blocks if there is a follow-up to take. In the both down result, there is no push, and therefore there's no follow-up. Some early pressure here over in the right wide zone, just a little bit. 3 players crossing the line of scrimmage over in the right wide zone, one of which is the number 3 Valkyrie Frisia. JD Whitey, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have commands for, coach stats, race stats, and team stats. So you can look up any coach, race or faction, and team. You can also look up skills as well. 2 seconds ago here in turn 1. Taking a bunch of marks. So the Norse team is going to go heavy on the marks here. You heard in the pregame, I was not sure who would want to do that. Not to say that it's bad. I don't know. I don't know what the right strategy would be there. Turn 2, we're about to find out. The Norse team taking a ton of marks. Everybody marking someone else except for the Beer Boar, number 13 in the right wide zone, and of course Francia the Valkyrie over back at center pitch here, that left inner linebacker. Turn 2 now for the Snakes. Snakes are going to pull in the number 3 blitzer, Cottonmouth, to take marks on those 3 Norse players over on the right side. Going to try to get a surf here. First block is going to be a push against the number 5 Norse Berserker Sidewinder. The witch up on the blitz. 2-dive follow-up. There it is. Well done. 1-man player advantage for the Dark Elf team. And a good rush off the sideline by Sidewinder. Had to follow up due to frenzy. Got the 2 assists to make these 2-dive blocks on both blocks. Got the surf. Well done. You have to be careful when you're up against frenzy, because frenzy gets that follow-up that follow-up block. So these two columns here near the sidelines are often unsafe. You have to be careful when you park players there. Now the Snakes taking these blocks. No armor break yet. Sets up the assist for the 2-die over on the right side of the line. Gets a knockdown out of this, looking for the 8+. Finally, the 1-die against the rookie Ulfwerner. Got the POW. 9+ on these strength 4 pieces with no armor break. That'll be the turn. Turn 2. Back to Odin and Nuffle. Pick me up works out. There you go. Number 7 stands up for free. 2-die block. I'm sorry. I promised to call it Pig Me Up. Pig Me Up works out. Knockdown on the Blodger Blitzer. That's the advantage of tackle. It negates dodge. So now you get another face on the die that's will get you the knockdown. Yeah, I made a mistake. I corrected it. A little over a minute to go here in turn 2 for Odin and Nuffle, continuing to take these marks. They're down a player. It's 11v10 on the pitch in favor of the Dark Elf team. Pores everywhere were affected. Under 30 seconds now for Odin and Nuffle. They've taken some marks. They still have their blitz. They're going to move number 9, Constantinople, down the left wide zone, back to the mid-pitch here, and trying to apply some pressure on the ball carrier. SP Beaver says, I know it's a common thing, but I still feel uncomfortable as an elf team to stay that far back. I can understand that. It feels weird, but you are so agile and so mobile. I think a way to think about it is, no matter where you are, you can get to where you want to be, you know? Frizia on the blitz, and now 2 players applying some pressure to Black Mamba. Odin and Nuffle on the bonus clock. They spent 40 seconds. They have 6 minutes, 50 seconds left on that bonus clock. You burn out your 2 minutes on the turn clock. You get 7 minutes, 30 seconds of additional time to spend throughout the duration of the game. Turn 3 now for the Snakes. Now the Snakes need to think about where this ball is going to end up and be safe. You see the defense with a number of players behind the offensive line. Cottonmouth stands up the blodger, takes a mark against Frizia. SP Beaver says, are those the ones you just marked to be injured now? It's the mark. They're marked for death. Ball's going to move forward now. The Witch Elf moves up to the 10-yard line, just inside the right wide zone. Setting up a cage here. Gonna blitz away the Valkyrie. Can't leave a corner of the cage mark. That means potential will be a potential blitz on the ball. And now the Witch Elf will move back to the right. There's closing out the cage. Well done on the blitz here by the Snakes. $15 seconds left in the turn. Good 2+ dodge by Snake Plissken just for me. We'll have a 2-die block coming up here shortly against the number 1 Ulfwerener. Here it is. Got the knockdown. Looking for a 9+. No armor break. Good 2+ dodge for the 2-die over on the left side. Gets a push against the number 12 lineman. And that's the turn. Turn 3 back to Odin and Snuffle. So the Norse team getting aggressive with these marks. So far, I've only lost a single piece. Beerboar's new to the Norse team for the BB 2020 rules. Again, they have that trait, that skill. Pick me up. At the end of your opponent's turn, you'll roll a d6 for everyone that's within 3 squares of the Beerboar who is prone. On a 5+, they will stand up for free, which is very nice because that's what the jump up skill does, right? Or that's one of the things the jump up skill does. But this, you get to do it for free, so you don't have to spend your 3 MA to stand up. So when you only have 6 MA, 3 MA, that's half your movement. You get a free stand, you get your full movement. Armor break over in the right wide zone gets a stun on Taipan. Oh, my apologies, my apologies. That this skill, I mispronounced it. I pronounced it in the old tongue. It's pig me up. $25 seconds to go here in turn 3. Two marks on the back left corner of the cage against the blitz, against the blodger here, the number 3 blitzer Cottonmouth. 2-die blitz by the Ulfwerener back on the left side of the line. Gets a knockdown. Again, has to follow up due to Frenzy. Has plenty of movement left with the Ulfwerener. Resets the Ulfwerener back across the line of scrimmage. We're at 2. We're at 2. Odin and Snuffle down to 6:23 on the bonus clock. They spent 1 minute, a little over 1 minute from their 7 minutes 30 seconds. Turn 4 now for the Snakes. They're on their own 10-yard line just inside the right wide zone, but continue to face heavy pressure by this Norse team. 2 marks on the Ulfwerener over on the left side of the pitch. Ball's going to move up to the 4-yard line. Looks like we'll see a blitz by Copperhead or Rattler against the Ulfwerener. So sets up the protective screen on the ball carrier. He's hanging out just outside the left wide zone now. Here are your screening players. We'll get another player coming in here, taking this blitz. There it is. 2-die blitz, gets the POW. Gets the armor break. Is it a removal? It is a stun. String 4-piece, they're not going to have to worry about for a turn. 2 more points of movement left for the blitzer. But with that stun, they might just stay in place. Man, nobody's going to know what this is. But boy, did I go on a shopping spree yesterday. But that aside, I went to the video game store and they had an old Sega Saturn game. It was a Japanese game. Nobody knows what this series is. There were 2 games in the series. It's called Quo Vadis. It is a real-time, like, mech war game. And it's awesome. I finally owned the first one. And because nobody knows what it is, it was like $9. It was great. Oh, I'm so excited to have it. Finally. It's one of those games that I saw like one time in Game Fan magazine and I was like, oh, I want that. And we never got it. I never saw it. Oh, I'm very excited. 2-die blitz now on the back right corner here of the cage. Gets a knockdown, takes a mark on the ball carrier now. Francia, the Valkyrie on the blitz. Yeah, I've played Custom Robo. Custom Robo's cool. Not so trusty passes. Thank you very much for the bits. The Saturn is great. The Saturn was the console that made me a Sega fan. I wasn't really into the Genesis too much until I got much older and stopped being a little baby child. But I barely knew the Master System as a kid either. But the Saturn, I got into the Saturn when nobody wanted one, and so the console was dirt cheap. Games were dirt cheap, and it was just like this, and it was very easy to play import games. It was right at the time when I was learning Japanese, so like it was this confluence of things that came together, and it was just a magical console. I loved it. They had great fighting game ports with RAM carts. Second quarter begins here for the Snakes. Turn 5 coming up. Two-die block against Constantinople. Gets the knockdown to clear the ball carrier. Good chain push here to get Valkyrie out of the way. Just to get Francia out of the way. And now the 2-die on Francia. This will be a knockdown. Looking for just an 8+ here. Got the 8+. Is it going to be a removal? Just a stun. Ball carrier's cleared. A few players in the secondary forward of the ball. It looks like the ball's going to move up to the 6. Just outside the left wide zone. Black Wolf, welcome to the stream. Black Wolf says, let's go Norse, because elves always beat me, and they are cheaters. So the ball's going to move up just to the 2-yard line across the line of scrimmage here. Just inside the left wide zone. keeping this pocket intact. 2-die block against the number 1. Ulf Werner gets a push out of this. Just stay put. So the Elves not wanting to give up these blocks. But Calathea says, I'll get right in your face. So the Norse team willing to base pieces here. And still they've only lost 1 piece in the first quarter. Finally fails to dodge here in the right wide zone. It's not going to re-roll this. There's no point to. It's something we've talked about many times over the course of the league. But these die rolls are very meaningful because the variance or the number of states, right, are low. So you're not rolling a D 100 million. You're rolling a D6, and so odds change very dramatically when you can re-roll something like that. And so team re-rolls therefore have a lot of value. And if they have a lot of value, you want to make sure you're getting your value out of them. When you fail a dodge over here, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting out of it? If it's not helping you win the game, or maybe win the championship, or win something, don't spend the reroll. Right? This was a dodge just to get Taipon clear. It fails, so what? Move understood that, didn't spend the reroll. It's a skill that you have to learn, and it can be tricky, right? Because you don't want to fail things, and as a new player, you're like, oh, I got to re-roll that so I succeed. I've got the re-roll. Let me re-roll it so I can succeed. Don't re-roll it unless you've asked yourself the question, what am I getting out of this that'll help me win the game? Not so trusty Patches says, is there a greater mascot than Segata Sanshiro? I think saying I remember those commercials is disingenuous, but I'm a big JRPG fan. It's a JRPG series you may or may not be familiar with, called Phantasy Star. And I played all 4 Phantasy Stars on the Saturn in a collection for the Saturn called Phantasy Star Collection. And on there, they had Sega Sanshiro commercials where he'd like punch the moon and stuff. Here's the foul with the beer bore. Got the KO. Did not get called off the pitch. The ref saw nothing. We talked about that as being one of the uses for the beer bore in the pregame, and now it's it's all tied up with the pitch, 10v10. Turn 6 now for the Snakes. Just to be clear, I had blue and red turned on. I just turned it off. The Elves were blue. They're now going to be red. The Norse were red. They're now going to be blue. Bitwise Bard, welcome to the stream. Bitwise Bard says, there's not enough D100 billion dice games out there. There aren't. It's just a perfectly smooth sphere that rolls forever. 2-die blitz by Copperhead gets a push against St. Philip, the number 11 rookie lineman. Not so trusty Patches says Phantasy Star 4 is amazing. Phantasy Star 4 is amazing. I like all 3, but Phantasy Star 4 is a masterpiece. Eridus. Did I get it right this time? Eridus demands death. You know what? I hope you get it. I hope you get it. Who doesn't want a little death in their life? 38 seconds for in turn 6 here for the Snakes. Festoon, welcome to the stream. Did I say all 3? There's 4 of them. Well, there's a lot more than 4, depending on how you count it. Good 2+ dodge by the Witch Elf. Black Mamba now all the way down to the opposing 16-yard line. Moves back to the center pitch. There's Phantasy Star 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 was on the Master System. 2, 3, and 4 were on the Genesis, but I played them all on the Saturn. And then there's the Phantasy Star Online series that isn't like narratively related. I played the first one of those, and I don't need to play Phantasy Star Online anymore. Hooray! I got it right. Another good 2+ dodge here to fill in the gap behind the ball carrier. So great formation here by the Snakes. You can see how they've pivoted their pocket to be right here. Got a player here as well. They decide to keep this space open by covering this side here to rush a player in to cover this here. Turn 6 for Odin and Nuffle. They're now finding themselves behind the ball. Every single player on this defense is behind the ball currently. Two-die block gets a knockdown here. Behind the ball, gets nothing out of it. SP Beaver says, pretty sure the defense is on the wrong side. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Odin and Nuffle currently playing to remain in second place. If they lose this game, they well, they may still stay in second place. If they lose this game 1-0, they'll remain in second place. Two-die blitz against Sidewinder, the number 2 Witch Elf. Side stick both down result there. Did have the block skill, but the opposing piece had the wrestle skill. Wrestle says on a both down result, you can elect to use the wrestle skill. Both pieces will go down, but there'll be no armor break and no turnover. It's a great way to keep fragile pieces on the pitch. Oh, Ajax, you need a plural on the end because I was lazy and didn't do singular, but I should do that. Another foul by Odin and Nuffle. They didn't get anything out of this. I think this is a good call on the foul. Going after that Witch Elf. High dollar piece, very important piece on the roster. To get the knockdown and not the removal, go for the foul, but didn't work out. Had just the 1 assist, so needed a 7+ to break armor. Rolled a 6, but the ref didn't see it, so didn't get called off for the foul. Turn 7 now for the Snakes. They can score right now if they wish to. Stall this out for one more turn. The Snakes are going to advance the ball into the right wide zone, now on the 22-yard line. So the Snakes had a little bit of a confrontation early in the drive, were able to get out of the scenario and got behind the defense. Now they're in good shape to score here, but they're going to try to stall this out one more turn. So this is going to give the defense one more opportunity to try to stop this score. Yeah, Phantasy Star 2. Spoilers for a game that's, I don't know, 40 years old at this point. But Phantasy Star 2 did the Final Fantasy 7 thing before Final Fantasy did it. I guess you could argue that Final Fantasy 3 did it before Final Fantasy 7, but whatever. Oh, got the KO here. Removed one of the Ulf winners. Remember, they're the strength 4 piece with Frenzy. Got the KO there. Well done. We'll see if it sticks for the second drive here. Remember, the North team's on defense, so they'll get basically 2 KO rolls for the second half of the game. They'll get the KO roll on turn 8, provided the score happens. And then they'll get the KO roll at the beginning of the second half as well. So that's going to give them a 75% chance to get that Ulf winner back for the second half of the game. But in Phantasy Star 2, you have a character who dies, and it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. Turn 7 for Odin and Snuffle. This is their final opportunity to stop the score here. Snake Plissken runs away from the action? Snake Plissken? Oh, I know what he's doing. He's escaping New York. That's what he's doing. That makes sense. That makes sense. So Odin and Snuffle doesn't have a real clear shot at this ball carrier. I doubt he'll risk going after the ball, but he will take these blocks to try to get some SPP and try to get some removals here that will hopefully stick for the second half of the game. Here's the blitz. Ulf Werner on the blitz. Two-die blitz. Gets the knockdown here against Rattler. Follows up, takes a mark on Cottonmouth. It's not gonna matter. "15 seconds left in turn 7 now for Odin Snuffle. Here's the foul. Maybe it will matter. Two assists, or one assist on the foul, rather. Doesn't get anything out of it, but doesn't get called off the pitch again. You get assists for fouls just as you do with blocks. So we had the assist here, but not here. And that's due to the mark coming from the opposing player here. Moom said this ref is blind. Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, to be fair, he's all the way over here. So with 2 rerolls left, the Snakes will be able to score this turn. But having those rerolls, remember, again, they change your odds very significantly. So it's often a good idea to go take your blocks. Take your blocks, get the removals, get some casualties, get some SPP. Put yourself in a better position for the rest of the game. Double pals here against the number 1 Ulf Werner. Looking for a 9+. Doesn't get it. There's the score. Well done by the Snake. Oh, that's not the score. That's the score. Whoa! Risking the score on the handoff. It's just a 2+ handoff. Did have the reroll, but good job by Moob here, trying to get this SVP across the right players, spreading the SVP out amongst the team. They're going to take the lead here in turn 8. 1 turn left in the first half of this game. We'll see if the Norse can do anything with that turn. If there's a timeout, they have a very real opportunity to score. Excellent offense by the Dark Elf team here in the first half of this game. The Norse team, they were the ones to engage, and it didn't quite work out against this Dark Elf team. We'll see if Clypheus shakes things up for this second half now that they're going to be on offense. Moop said, yeah, that was greed. Spread it out the... No, it's greed. 3 on the line for the Elves. The rest hanging out, screening out the pitch on the 20-yard line. So Odin and Snuffle will have blocks to take on the line. They have all 3 of their rerolls still in their possession. In the old rules of the LRB 6 and earlier, you could not spend more than 1 team reroll a turn. Now you can. So those 3 rerolls could come in very, very handy for Odin and Snuffle if they can get the timeout. Frizia, the number 3 Valkyrie, back to receive the ball. Creed is handing off to an ogre. Here's the kick. Deep kick. Oh, who's going to get knocked out on the pitch invasion? It's going to be Constantinople stunned. It is a touchback. There's nothing that Odin and Snuffle will be able to do here. They're going to put the ball in the hands of Frisia, try to get a point of SPP on her at the end of this turn. But 3 to block down the line to end the first half of this game. Two-die block on Garter, gets a POW. Move says, how do I tell the ref I'm going to be fouled again? He doesn't want to listen to your this and your that. Oh, ref. The opposing team is cheating. Oh, ref. The opposing team has a chainsaw. Come on. Come on. That's how you tell them. You tell them with money. You tell them with gold. Oh, ref, look, the other team has a giant mace, and they're swinging it around. Foul by the boar, got the armor break, got the KO, well done, but this time gets called off. The ref finally sees this one. Clavius tries to argue the call, the ref's having none of it. Beer boar removed from the pitch, that'll be the end of the half. 1-0 the score. Odin and Nuffle will be on offense to start the second half here. KO coming back for the Snakes. Not coming back for Odin, it's Nuffle. The Snakes to set up their 11-player defense. I think it's still 11 for Odin and Nuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Indeed it is. So it'll be 11v11 on the pitch. That's right. Hey, ref, now there's a giant spiked tank on the pitch. You know what? You deal with your own problems. I've got a game to officiate. Anchor defense for the Elves here to start the second half of this game. Snakes will be down to 2 rerolls again. They did get that 3rd reroll thanks to the assistant coach they brought in the inducement phase. Coming up after this game, scheduled for 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at CTC -4, we'll have the second game of our double header this evening. That'll be the Goner. Speaking of chainsaws and fanatics, we've got the Gunner Gits versus the Wooden Men and Iron Trees, Cobblestorm versus S Beaver. That'll be Goblins versus Wood Elves. That's coming up in about 50 minutes from now. Offset line for the defense. They decided to split the secondary and the linebackers up into these chevrons. And now currently 8 on the line for the Norsemen. Frisia back to receive once more. Odin and Nuffle with 2 beer boars on the roster, so they'll still have one here for this drive. With no player advantage and being a fairly brittle team, I imagine Odin and Nuffle are playing for the draw here. Of course, as a coach, you always see how the drive develops, but at least I would be thinking at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm playing 1-1 now. Because if I don't have a significant player advantage against these Elves, I don't want this Edge 2+ team to have an opportunity to win 2-1. Now 7 on the line. 2 wideouts. Both, we'll call that a tight end, and we'll call that well, now there's 3 on the, 8 on the line. Strong to the right side. All right, here's the kick. 8 on the line for the Norsemen. Middling kick. It's an officious ref. Who does he hate this time? You knocked out Snake Plissken? Who's gonna save the president now? I think the ref is a criminal locked up on the prison island of Manhattan. Two-die block in the right wide zone gets a stun here. SP Beaver says, do you know how expensive a tree is in this economy? Two-die block on the rookie lineman Rat. Gets a push. The Slav town of Rerik on the push. Speaking of chainsawing down trees, there is a there's a there's a car dealership in Japan called Big Motor, and long story short, they were evil, pure evil. They got caught doing lots of shady stuff. Not the least of which was deliberately damaging customer cars when they brought them into the shop so that the shop could charge them for more repairs. But one of the things they did, which was against the law, was they cut down trees on the sidewalk so that their dealerships would be more observable from the streets. They were awful. They would cut them down and they would poison them. Another foul by the beer boar here against Coral Reef. Gets nothing out of it, does not get called off. Frizia on the ball pickup, gets the ball up to the 8-yard line, the Odin and Nuffle 8-yard line. Turn 9 now for the Snakes. Currently have one block and a blitz. There's the assist for the block against the Slav town of Rerik. The whole town, two-die blitz, gets a pow out of this. Just an 8+ will break armor. Another thing to point out with these linemen is that they're all drunkards. This is a nega trait that they have. If they want to rush, their rushes don't fail on just a 1. They fail on a 1 or a 2. So you will almost never see these linemen attempt to rush. Blitz in the block. Done. So the Snakes on defense currently. So it looks like Moves decided they don't want to engage. Oh, I didn't even see this block. Two-die block on repositioning. The lineman gets the knockdown with the blitzer. Well done. Turn 10 now for Odin. It's Nuffle. So far, Clive is coaching the team that's been willing to engage. Bad Dog demands death. Haven't seen a whole lot yet. Really, no injuries so far. Just the 1 KO that hasn't recovered, and the call off the pitch. Breaks armor here over in the right wide zone. Gets a stun. Number 5, Norse Berserker. Aquitaine on the blitz. Plenty of movement left with the blitzer. A blitz is a block and a move action all in one. So you get to do both actions in once. It's a once per turn action. And the block costs you 1 point of movement. But otherwise, it's basically 2 actions in one. Looks like Odin and Snuffle are going to advance this ball to... Whoa! Failed the rush! Whoa. Francia on the failed rush. Looked like he was thinking of setting up a cage, thought second guessed it and wanted to try to control more of the pitch to set up this protective screen. Went for the rush and failed it. Rolled snake eyes on the rush, and now the ball carrier in trouble. Minute 20 in the clock. Ball marked now by the Snakes. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz on the ball carrier. There it is. Got the POW. 8+ breaks armor. Where's the ball going to bounce? It's going to bounce one space to the left. Is this going to be a rush by the Witch Elf? I doubt it. I stand corrected. The Witch Elf will rush into position and picks up the ball. Well done here by Boom. But now another rush. Fails this rush. Spends the reroll. Nuffle was more kind to the Snakes here. Gets the knockdown on the blitz. Did rush on the ball to get the pickup. And it worked out. But now another failed rush trying to get players into position. Nuffle said, look, I gave you one. I gave you one. Don't ask me for two. Spends the final reroll here. Fails the rush on a Snake Eyes here with Black Mamba. Black Mamba breaks her own armor and stuns herself. And now Odin, it's Nuffle, has an opportunity to reclaim this ball in turn 11. Here it is, 2-die blitz with the tackle lineman. Double pals, doesn't need tackle. 8+ breaks armor. No armor break. And the ball bounces one space back again. Now on the 14-yard line. No movement left with the blitzer unless it's going to be a rush. In the game of Blood Bowl, if you take a move action, you get to move your movement allowance. You can see Moccasin here has a movement allowance of 6. So Moccasin can move 6 spaces. But if that's not enough, players can also do what's called a rush. So during their movement action, they can move up to 2 additional spaces. But for each of those spaces, they have to roll a d6. On a 1, they actually fail, go prone, have to make an armor roll, and it's a turnover. Now that's a little different for these Norse linemen who are drunkards. They can rush as well, but these rushes are a -1, so a normal rush for them is actually fails on a 1 or a 2. Odin Nuffle continuing to take marks here. Takes a mark against the number 1 rookie Ulf Werner. No. The Ulf Werner moves. Takes a mark against the number 9 rookie lineman Moccasin. Rushes Constantinople 1 space toward the ball. Takes a mark on Copperhead. Stands up Frisia. And now the foul. Trying to take the Witch Elf out of the game. Gets a stun out of it. And does not get caught off. This ref is asleep. Scrum starting to form around the ball. Turn 11 now for the Snakes. They are in the lead currently, but they have no rerolls left for the game. The Norsemen have 2. Stands up the lineman, or stands up the Berserker to get the assist here. Stands up the Berserker. Stands up the lineman to get the assist against the Berserker. I'll speak English at some point. Gets a push out of this. So the blitz has been spent. Can get a 2-die against the number 6 lineman, Alt Clud, over on the left side of this formation. Trying to funnel more elves in on the ball. 2+ dodge to a 2+ pickup. Well done by Sidewinder. There's the score. 2-0. The Snakes increase their lead. Very well done. Boy, elves with their high agility can be very, very annoying to deal with. Good KO. Good TD by the Dark Elves. 2+ to a 2+. And now Odin and Nuffle in real trouble here. They're down 2 touchdowns with a little over a quarter left. If they're going to win this game, they've got to make a big play, or 2 or 3. Might be time for the Norsemen to throw in the towel and just try to do some team development here. Maybe keep some players safe. Maybe get some SPP on some players. Because I don't know what a win looks like at this point. Similar formation for the defense. The offense with 8 on the line. Here's the kick. And now it's a blitz. And he rolls a D3 on the blitz. Oh, NC Snakes get 6 unmarked players to basically get a free turn here. The ball is going to end up being kicked to the opposing 10-yard line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 1, a 2. We'll see what happens here. 2-9 blitz on the left wide zone. Gets a push out of this. That's the blitz. Clappy says, I mean, it seems about right for this game. Spends the final 2 points of movement with Snake Plissken to move toward the ball. Both teams undefeated currently, but a loss not the biggest of deals for these teams. They are at the top of the leaderboard in Division C here in Week 6. There are 9 weeks of regulation. So still in very, very good shape and in great contention here to make the cut to top 8. The top 2 teams of each division will make the cut to top 8, and the 2 best third-place teams between the 2 divisions will also make the cut. There's the 2 rushes. Fails the catch there. Catches a -1, so it's a 2+1. He's a 3+ to catch the ball. Fails the pickup. Ball's going to bounce to the right side on the 10-yard line. Turn 12 for Odin and Nuffle. SPB Versailles stepped out for a minute to grab food, and now it's 2-0. It is. Elves doing what elves do. Double pals will work. Or double pals. 2 both down results works out due to the block skill here at center pitch. That's the line lockdown. And now Frenzy Blitz on Rattler. Gets a push out of this. 2-die Frenzy follow-up. Gets another push. Clears the ball. .45 seconds on the clock here. Odin and Nuffle trying to find whatever they can get out of this game. If that's a win, boy, I'd love to see it. If not, they're, like we said, still in great shape, but would probably be looking for some SPP to further develop this team going into Week 7. Two-die block against the number 7 lineman. The nose tackle on the defense gets knocked down. No armor break. Few armor breaks in this game. Here's the 3+ pickup. Works out. Frizia with the ball. Hands off to Francia. Now has the ball on the... Odin and Nuffle has the ball at their own 8-yard line. Back on the bonus clock with a little more than 5 minutes to go. Beerbor tramples down pitch. Has a half cage over in the right wide zone. Looks like they'll be setting this ball up on the opposing 4-yard line. There it is. Advances the ball across the line of scrimmage. Now on the opposing 4-yard line, just inside that right wide zone. Two-die block in the left wide zone. Gets a knockdown on Snake Plissken. But he'll stand right back up. He's Snake Plissken. Final turn of the third quarter. The NC Snakes in the lead 2-0. They have no rerolls remaining, but have all of their players on the pitch. Rat, the rookie lineman, stands up, is marking the number 5 Norse Berserker currently. There's 2 marks. There's 3. Blitz on the Beerbor. 3-die. Blitz gets the knockdown here. Needs just a 6+ to break armor, but can't do it. He's too resilient. So now a little bit of change of strategy here. The Snakes in the lead, now going in and taking marks here. Trying to stop the Norsemen from really being able to protect this ball. They're going to have the 2 Witch Elves in the secondary here. There's one. There's the second, right in front of the ball. 2+ dodge gets Snake Plissken to safety. And another 2+. Very, very agile elves are to get the number 4 blitzer to safety. Turn 13 now for Odin and Nuffle. Fourth quarter begins. They're down by 2 touchdowns. Can they get on the board at all? We'll find out. Norse are tough to play in my opinion. I think they're very, 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 very good at low TV. Just starting with all that block and frenzy can just be absolutely brutal depending on the matchup for the opposition. But they are glass cannons, so you know, once opposing teams start to skill up and lean into their roll a skull, re-rolls into a push, trying to get the surf here, gets another push. Cottonmouth surfed off the pitch. That is the Blodger blitzer. Well done. But once other teams start to lean into their advantages, into their play styles, boy, the glass cannonness of Norse, I think, can really be brutal. Because you've got the AV of a Wood Elf team, but not the edge of a Wood Elf team. Like, you want to get in there and you want to take hits, but you don't, or you want to make hits, but you don't want to take hits. Two-die on Garter, the rookie, number 10 rookie lineman, gets knocked down, but no armor break. Where does the ball end up? Boy, cage is completely marked. Elves as far as the eye can see. There is an out for Francia, but immense pressure from this Stark Elf team. Odin and Snuffle on the bonus clock. Going to take a little bit of time here to try to figure out where this ball needs to end up. Blitz is still on the table. Takes a mark on Taipan. Blitz with the ball carrier. One die blitz on Sidewinder. Got the pal here. Really wants the 8+. Didn't get it. Doesn't follow up. Odin and Snuffle. Plenty of movement left with the ball carrier. Francia on the block. Moved a couple spaces, took the block, down to 4 spaces of movement remaining. Did a little loop-de-loop, move 1 space back. He's 2 spaces back now. Back on the opposing 2-yard line. And now a 1 die against Black Mamba. Gets a dodge push out of this. Another 1 die block. This time gets the armor break. It's a KO. Well done. So that's a... that's 9v9 on the pitch? No, that's got to be a 2-man player advantage for Odin and Snuffle. Turn 13 for the Snakes. Heavy pressure on the ball right now. They're in the lead here in the final quarter of the game. It's going to be very, very difficult for this Doors team to get 2 touchdowns in 3 turns. But the Snakes, they've got an agenda of their own, right? They want to get as much SPP as they can out of that. That means touchdowns. That means casualties. That means passes. And as you start to get closer and closer to the end of regulation, that could even mean just really hurting the other team, right? There's sort of 2 arguments that can be made when you play an opposing team. You can go all in, you can try to hurt them and damage them because you're going to see them again, right? You're going to see them in the future, whether that's in the cut for a competition or in the postseason or in a future competition in the season. Or you can say, you know what? I want them to be healthy so they can go beat up on everyone else. But as you get closer and closer to the cut, you have to start asking yourself, where am I going to be ranked? Where am I going to be seated compared to these guys? And do I want them to be injured or not? KO on the beer board here by Black Mamba. I think that in itself should be a penalty. It's rude, frankly. Now nobody gets speared. Thanks, Black Mamba. Spoil it for everybody. Knocked out of the number 12 lineman. No armor break. Failed the 3+ dodge. That'll be a turnover. So here's the pitch control for the defense. They've got this right wide zone pretty well secured. Turn 14 for Odin and Snuffle. They have 1 reroll left for this game. Can they make something happen in 3 turns? Currently just 1 block to take for the Norse team. They're going to take a mark on the front left corner here. Slav talent of Rerik. This is the level 2 lineman for the mark. 2-die blitz now by the rookie Ulfwerner. Number 1 gets a push into a 2-die frenzy follow-up, gets the knockdown here. Again, has to follow up due to frenzy. Has now opened up a lane back to center pitch. So can move the ball this way. Keeping the ball safe is the question. Looks to be setting up a cage on the opposing 10-yard line. Here goes the ball carrier. There it is. Parks are on the 10. Constantinople can fill in the back right corner on a rush. Doesn't risk the rush. Turn 14 now for the Snakes. The Snakes do not need to get super risky at all. They don't need to stop this score. Of course, they'll try, but if it gets away from them, they're not going to risk players on dramatic die rolls because they're well in the lead here, 2-0. So if it gets away from them, they'll say, you know what? That's your TD. Congratulations on your 3 SPP. I'll try to get some of my own over here where it's safer. Minute 15 on the clock for the Snakes. They are now almost entirely behind the ball. They have 1 player ahead of the ball, 2 on the same row as the ball. Yeah. So these 2 here, this player's ahead. 2-die on a push on number 7. Number 7 does have the fend skill, so number 7 can prevent the blocking player from following up. Two-die blitz by Black Mamba gets a pow on Lindisfarne. He gets no armor break. Number 1 Ulfwerner. Ball's gonna go for the foul. 4 assists right now. There it is. Boy, oh boy. Good removal here, and the ref saw nothing. 4 assists on the foul. That's a 5+ to break armor on the number 1 Ulfwerner. Got the armor break, got an injury out of it. No SPP on a foul. Turnover back at mid-pitch here. Turn 15 for Odin. It's Nuffle. They are in scoring position right now. It's 1 rush to score. Three more SPP on the Valkyrie will allow her to level up a primary. In Blood Bowl, your experience points on your players are called star player points, or SPP. And you collect them for various things in the game. Scoring touchdowns, causing casualties, completing passes, being the MVP of a game. And once you get a certain amount of SPP, you can cash that in for a new skill. And the skills are divided into different buckets. Passing, or blocking general, or strength general, mutations, whatever. And depending on the player... Got the removal here as well. Boy, oh boy, I can't believe you injured Snake Plissken. Are we not... Is that it? Do we not get a 3rd movie? Unbelievable. They'll park the ball outside the end zone here on turn 15. We'll score on turn 16, or at least try to score on turn 16. But depending on the player and the faction, that player has certain skills that are certain skill buckets that are primary and certain skill buckets that are secondary. Secondary escape from Lustria. James like snacks. Welcome to the stream. Primary skills are cheaper to acquire than secondary skills. But that's how you level up your players. And it's very important, especially early in the season. One die blitz on Black Mamba gets a push. Frenzy follow-up. This is an uphill block. Stays alive on the uphill block. I think they might take the push here. I think Move might take the push. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not because of number 7 here. And now a 1 die on Taipan gets a POW out of this. Or not a POW, but gets a knockdown. Turn 15 now for the Snakes. They are certain to win this game. They're in the lead 2-0 right now. Now they're looking for SPP. Gets a push on the number 5 Berserker. Second block is going to be a both standing result against the Berserker. The Berserker stays on his feet. And now a third block. This time a blitz on the Berserker gets a push again. Frenzy follow-up finally gets the knockdown here. Looking for the 8. Got the 8. Gets a KO out of it. So no SPP out of that blitz. And the Witch Elf just moves over to the right wide zone and says, I'll hang out with you, Sidewinder. I think we're done for the day. Fast and 2+ dodge by Carter. And now turn 16 for Odin and Nuffle will walk the ball into the end zone. They do have a reroll. We'll see if they spend that reroll first. They do not. They want to guarantee the 3 SPP. Good touchdown here by Odin and Nuffle. Scores now 2-1 with a turn remaining in the game. KO comes back for the Snakes. Oh, Nuffle. Nuffle, why? You know what? You know what? They're safe. They're safe. No KOs come back for Odin and Nuffle. They're going to hang out safely on the sideline. Oh, man. 8 on the pitch for Odin and Nuffle. It'll be 10 on the pitch for the Snakes here in the final turn of the game unless we have a timeout. No rerolls remaining for the Snakes. Oh, man. Oh, I could feel the pain. Nuffle is fickle. 6 on the line for the Snakes. They've got three Norsemen to block down here. Rattler over the right wide zone just in case we get this time out. Black Mamba back to receive the ball. Here's the kick. So it's going to be a high kick here. Black Mamba will get under the ball for the free catch. Got the catch. Well, it's not free. You have to actually catch it to get the free movement. And now, how much SPP can the Snakes get out of this? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. One push. Needs 3 more pushes on Sidewinder. Do the Snakes have a 1 turn in them? Well, no, no, it's the answer. A push on number 7. And now the pass. Failed the pass. Of course. Succeed on all the KOs, but you failed the pass. There it is. 2-1 is going to be the final here. Well done by the Snakes. Very well done. Very well played game by both coaches there. Again, that was a difficult matchup, I think. I lost my mouse there for a second. Yeah, that was a difficult matchup, I think, and I think both coaches played very, very well. The NC Snakes came out on top after a very unfortunate Snake Eyes roll by the Norse team, by Odin and Nuffle, that left the ball exposed. Moob did exactly what they should have done. They took advantage of the opportunity, were able to get that ball out on a 2+ dodge by the Witch Elf. That took the lead 2-0, and that was pretty much ball game at that point. But well done again by both coaches. Congratulations to Moob and the Snakes. They're going to advance into second place here in Division C with Odin and Snuffle still at the top of the charts here. Picked up their first loss here in week 6. They've gone 6 weeks without, they've gone 6 weeks until getting a loss here. They're still very, very, very much in this competition. I look forward to how week 7 through 9 will play out. We've got our second game of our doubleheader coming up in just about 11 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to kick over to our countdown timer. We'll take 10 minutes, grab something to drink, get relaxed, do whatever you need to do, take out the trash. We'll see you back here in 10 minutes for game number 2. It's going to be Goblins versus Wood Elves. I'm very excited for this. We'll see you back here in 10 minutes.